The video shows two separate court cases in a Texas courtroom, focusing mainly on Kesha Smith, a woman previously given a second chance through deferred adjudication for a serious felony. Aggravated robbery. Kesha Smith's case. Kesha had originally avoided prison in 2021 when the court placed her on deferred adjudication probation for aggravated robbery, a crime that could have resulted in a life sentence. This meant if she successfully completed probation, she would avoid a formal conviction. However, she violated her probation by committing two new offenses, drug possession and theft. During the hearing, she pleaded true to these violations, fully aware that doing so allowed the judge to revoke her probation and sentence her to prison. The prosecution argued that since she committed new felonies and refused to wait in jail for a treatment program, ISF, intermediate sanction facility, she should be sentenced to 5 years in prison. Her defense attorney explained that Kesha was willing to undergo treatment, but did not want to wait several months in jail due to long delays in getting into the program. Kesha testified emotionally, admitting her struggles with drug addiction, unstable relationships, and past trauma, including abusive partners. She expressed a desire to change, return to school, and rebuild her life. The judge questioned her thoroughly, emphasizing the seriousness of her original violent offense, her repeated poor decisions, the pattern of unhealthy relationships and drug use. Ultimately, the judge gave her a final choice: go to prison for 5 years, or stay in custody and enter the ISF treatment program. Although hesitant about the waiting period, Kesha chose treatment over prison. Judge's decision. The judge decided not to revoke her probation fully, but instead ordered her into the ISF treatment program, required her to remain in custody until transferred, imposed strict new conditions. Importantly, the judge banned her permanently from working in home health care, in jobs involving minors around medications, due to her drug issues. This reflected the court's concern about public safety and her past behavior. Second case, Agapito Garcia. Second case involves Agapito Garcia, charged with theft. Unlike Kesha, he accepted a plea bargain, waived his trial rights, pleaded no contest. The judge sentenced him to 12 months in state jail, consistent with the agreement. Credit for time served, no right to appeal, due to the plea deal. The judge advised him to change his lifestyle, warning that continued behavior would keep him in jail. Overall theme: the proceedings highlight two different paths in the justice system. Kesha's case shows a person struggling with addiction and being given one last chance through treatment instead of prison. Garcia's case shows a more straightforward plea and sentencing outcome. The central message is about accountability, consequences, and the difficulty of breaking cycles of crime and addiction, while also showing that courts sometimes offer rehabilitation, but with strict limits and expectations.
Ms. Smith, do you realize how serious the case you're on probation for is?
I do.
Do you understand that, as the judge explained, when you're on probation for this type of case, if you're on deferred adjudication, you're subject to a full range of punishment for this kind of case?
Yeah.
And yet, somehow, some way, you've been arrested for shoplifting. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And it's been twice that this has happened. And one of the times you were arrested, you were in possession of some drugs. And why are you out shoplifting?
Basically, I've been on this probation for 2 years, and I wasn't leaving the relationship. I had a fallout with my parents, and I didn't have anyone to say. So when I, the only people that I knew was previous times. And when I relapsed and got back on drugs, which is the case, these cases all happened within a certain amount of time, and those were the times that I was usually because prior to that, I was typically fine if I was just be able to do like a sober living or get some type of support where I can't stay off of drugs. I know that I can be successful.
And let me ask you a question. How old are you right now?
I'm 35.
And at any point did you have a career?
Yeah, I do. I worked for a Wells Fargo bank for 7 years before using them. I worked for a pharmaceutical company, CVS. I'm currently a college for cosmetology and both, which can be confirmed through my probation. Which is another reason why it's not that I don't feel like I deserve to wait. I understand that's better than going to prison waiting for the bed for ISF because I do want to help, but I just really wanted to get back to school. And I know I should have thought about that before, but again, my mind wasn't where it should have been.
Okay, and let me ask you this, have you tried looking for work while you've been on probation?
I was working on looking.
Okay, have you encountered problems because of your felony probation?
Yes, the type of work that I'm used to is, like I said, banking or when I tried to get back into the game because of my record. It's audit. Like I get the job and then once the background comes, it's a little bit discouraging.
And but you're on deferred adjudication probation. Do you understand that if you successfully complete it, you would not be convicted of the aggravated robbery? Do you understand that? And you understand that you could seek to seal your record. It would be an option that would be available to you.
Yeah.
And has that been part of your long-term plan to be a productive member of society, to get back to some normalcy?
Absolutely.
And do you have a drug problem? And are you trying to address that problem? You need to speak up, I'm sorry.
Yes.
And are you trying to address that problem?
Yeah.
And are you willing to go inpatient like state ISF?
Yeah.
Are you willing to do outpatient or NA meetings, AA meetings, that sort of thing?
Yeah.
And are you asking this court to consider that if she gives you a chance to continue on probation, are you willing to do whatever the court requires?
Yes. I also, what I've learned from relapsing is I was naive into thinking, oh, well, that was just a moment in my life. That's not me. I'm not a drug addict, or it was just a phase. But after relapsing, now I know, and I do take into consideration how serious addiction is, and that it is not something to take lightly. It's not ever going to be just a weekend party thing for me, or it's a lifelong battle that I'm going to have to do. So I do take it seriously. That's just something I have to learn from relapse.
And if the court wants you to do zero tolerance or to go to state ISF, will you take it seriously? Is there any point in you going?
Yeah, absolutely.
And all of this happened. Were you married at some point?
I am.
Okay. Are you still in that marriage?
I am, but we've been separated from you.
Okay. Why did you get divorced?
Infidelity on his part and abuse.
Okay. Are we talking about domestic violence? When you first got arrested for aggravated robbery, were you in a relationship with a gentleman that was involved in that?
Yes.
And was there domestic violence in that situation?
Yes.
Did he shoot you in the back of the head?
Yes.
Is this an issue you've been dealing with?
Yes.
Have you been in a relationship with a gentleman that was involved in the Walmart incident? Was there anybody there that was involved in that?
Yes.
And is that a different person?
Yes.
So we're talking at least 3 people that you've been in a dating relationship that maybe haven't been the healthiest choice for you. And are you willing to keep counseling or do what it takes to not continue this repetitive cycle of self-destruction?
Yeah.
Are you asking the judge to continue you on probation, extend you at additional conditions, whatever she feels is appropriate, if she decides to do that? Okay. I have no further questions.
Just very briefly, Judge. Ms. Smith, you were placed on deferred for an offense involving theft, correct?
Yes.
And now you're back before the same judge because you committed a theft again, correct?
Yes.
where the probation officer on their report wrote that you had stopped working. Is that true?
I stopped working because they gave me permission to go to school full time.
But where were you previously working?
CVS, Caremark, pharmacy.
What is Heart at Home Senior Care?
Oh, yes, I was a part-time job there.
And what did you do there?
Take care of elderly people, getting their house clean, their clothes washed. But that didn't last long. Because my background came back.
And for good reason, right? We don't want people who have theft offenses caring for people like that, correct?
I've never stolen from a person. I do have a good heart. I want to steal from people.
You were part of an offense where y'all stole from someone who was in a parking booth, correct? At gunpoint?
And,
The aggravated robbery, who was the robbery of?
a tire shop.
Okay, but y'all were robbing someone for their property, correct?
Yes.
And you did commit a robbery in this shoplifting case, correct? Or I'm sorry, a theft in the shoplifting case, correct?
Yes.
I'll pass it.
Were you using drugs at any point during the shoplifting incidents?
Yes.
Why were you shoplifting?
All right, so what altercation did you get into with your mom?
My mom is very disappointed in the decisions that I made.
No, that's not my question. My question is, why did you get into an altercation with your mother?
Because she wanted me to stay home and I needed to go. I needed to go fill out the information for school, and she didn't want me to go on that day. She lived far out where there's no bus line. So I needed her to drive me there, and she was on her way to work.
All right, so here's your choice. People cannot write their own programs. If people could write their own programs, we wouldn't be here because everybody would be doing fabulously. Everybody would write their own program. They wouldn't be using drugs. They wouldn't continue to use drugs. They wouldn't continue to use drugs and pick up cases. Or as people say, catch a case. That wouldn't happen. You have. So here's your choice. You can either remain at the Bexar County Jail and go to ISF, Cognitive and Substantive Abuse Track, or you can go to prison for 5 years. Those are your choices. Which do you choose?
Would I be granted my time for 2 for 1?
I'm not in charge of you for 2 for 1 or not, but this tells me where her mind is.
No.
No, I mean, it does tell me where your mind is. So do you want the 5 years in prison or do you want ISF? Yes or no? I'll deny the motion, alternate amend conditions to include ISF, Cognitive and Substantive Track, and probation. She is not allowed, and I want you to hear me when I say this, and I want you to internalize this. I don't allow people who are on probation out of this court to ever, and people say you should never say never or ever, but in this court, you are never, ever allowed to have employment as a home healthcare provider or any jobs that involve minors. Do you understand? And I don't know why CVS Pharmacy would allow you to be working for them when you have a drug issue. You shouldn't be working around anything that has to do with medications when you have a drug issue. You shouldn't be allowed to be working around any place that has anything to do with medications or drugs when you have a drug issue. So it's going to be ISF, Cognitive Substantive Track. She's to remain in custody until transferred. No employment as a home healthcare provider or with minors. Is there anything else from either side?
No, you're.
All right, thank you. Court is calling 2022 CR 6685, State of Texas versus Agapito Garcia, in the box. Mr. Charles, if you all can Move that down on that end.
There's some sections.
Oh, they haven't sent a note back yet, but it's coming. Got parties announced for the record for the state.
Daniel Escobar for the state of Texas.
Defense.
Brent Hardy.
Are you Mr. Garcia? Counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case, defense, and reviewed that with your client?
I have, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Can you hand this to the state? Because I need to put it on the record before we go back to the back. But if you could hand it to the state and the defense to see if they have any objections. All right, we're back on the record. Mr. Garcia, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented? State?
Your Honor, we are continuing on the indictment presented. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Mr. Garcia, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places? Did you understand you're charged with the offense of theft under $2,500 enhanced? That's a state jail felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand? If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow that agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand? Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
No.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I do, yeah.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yeah.
Mr. Garcia, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yeah.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, I am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea bargain agreement, your punishment is to be assessed at 12 months in the state jail facility. This will run concurrent with County Court Cause number 679442. And there are no applications. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
State?
Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you the paragraph entitled Waiver of Appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Okay.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest, Judge.
State any evidence?
Honor state, all of our states except the one in all attachments.
No objection.
Mr. Garcia, I'm showing you what's entitled Waiver and Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call in the right to remain silent?
Yes.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments. The court has reviewed the same. The court is finding you guilty. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will follow your agreement, sentence you to 1 year in the state jail facility, give you credit for any time served. This will run concurrent with County Court Cause number 679442, showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. because this is a felony conviction. You're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. Mr. Garcia, you got to make some life changes. You can't keep stealing. You got to work for what you want. If there's a drug or alcohol problem, you got to get out and